Stewart scores one of the goals. And you were there that day, weren't you? Tell us your memories of that.
Yeah, I was. I had the suit on. I was part of the squad, but I didn't get on the bench or nothing that game. I was travelled. I travelled with the team and that. But just to be a part of something like that for a club like Ipswich to get promotion into the Premier League was amazing. The scenes we had afterwards as well. We had like the open top bus all through Ipswich, and it was just thousands and thousands of people. And to be that young and then be a bit part of it was really special.
Yeah. So, you know, you're still really young, and you're now a Premier League player. And interestingly, joining the club that season was Marcus Stewart.
Yeah.
So he's starting to follow you around a bit, as far as I can tell. You didn't actually play a Premier League game, but you did play a game that year as a Premier League player in the FA Cup at Morecambe.
Yeah.
And Marcus Stewart actually scored one of the goals in a 3-0 victory. And you came on as a sub in that game. Can you remember who you replaced?
Was it someone from Eddie George or David Johnson maybe? Or...
Think of the theme we've already had a bit.
Oh, was it Stewie again then? Yeah. Was it?
Marcus Stewart.
He felt sorry for me. Wanted to give me some minutes.
One question that I think interesting. We always knew you at City as the number 20.
Yeah.
And looking up the records, you were number 20 at Ipswich. So was that a special number for you?
I think, yeah, because when I got given my squad number at Ipswich and I made my debut, I was number 20. So I always wanted to try and whatever club I went to, I always wanted to have number 20. So it was like a theme I wanted to keep. But obviously when I went to Weymouth, I don't think you had to wear 1 to 11, I think, at that level. So I was gutted I had to wear number 9. So every club I went to, if I could, I'd try and get number 20 if it wasn't taken.
Brilliant. So you played one more game for Ipswich. You played in the League Cup at home to Middlesbrough in 2002. And then, as far as I can tell, you've been at Ipswich since the age of 9.
Yeah.
And then really you go into a period where you have 8 clubs in 6 seasons, some on loan, some permanent transfers. You go to Cambridge, Torquay, Boston, Peterborough, Shrewsbury, Lincoln, Weymouth. Yeah, so I just wondered in reflection why you think now it didn't really happen for you at Ipswich and why you went through that period of so many clubs.
Well, when I went to Cambridge because I went on just for a month's loan to get some experience. When I think I was just turned 18, so they wanted to get me into some games just to get my used to playing with real men and that. But I think what it was I had my pro contract when I was like 14 at school. I already knew I had pro contract and I had like 20 grand sign on fee and then I already had it waiting for me since I turned 17. So I think it all come too easy for me. And I think knowing that you're already being a pro, I didn't feel like I didn't have to work that hard for it. So I think when I took my foot off the pedal a little bit, and I think after I got in the first team as well, I got another contract straight away, and they give me another 40 grand, and then I was on like £1,500 a week, and I was only 17, and it's like all just coming off. I thought this is easy. So I think I just took my off the ball a little bit, and I'd go on holidays and stuff, and come back overweight and stuff like that. I come back, I think, stone and a half overweight one season, and then George Burley wouldn't let me train or nothing with the first team. And then that's when Darren Bent, I know well, he got into the first team, and then he just carried on going, and I just sort of went the other way. And I couldn't ever get myself back to real fitness, and I think I just all come too early, really.
So you got an early flavour of the West Country coming down to Torquay.
Yeah.
How did that go? And did you like Devon at the time?
Yeah, I think it was good for me to get away from the area I lived and that, and go to a place down Devon. It was lovely. I enjoyed it. I was there for three months, I think. I was there for, and Roy McFarlane took me there. And it was just great to get away, and I loved my time there, but obviously not as good as Exeter.
Well, we're coming on to that, but you really after all that at so many clubs in such a short period.
I went to Peterborough. I got 2.5 years, and it was one of them clubs where it weren't a family club or nothing. It was just like go training. The training grounds was rubbish. You train and just go home. It's one of them where I need to be around something what's like more laid out, planned. Like Tiz was for me. Tiz and the way Exeter was run, the family club, the fans. I always got on with the fans, even for the warm-ups and stuff. I'd like give stuff away. I get told off from the manager and that all the time. You have to pay your shirt. But I'm one of them. I like interacting with people, and it's all making people happy as well.
No. Well, you certainly didn't. I think you really landed on your feet when you came from Weymouth to Exeter in 2007. But I've got to say, it was all a bit weird, wasn't it? I mean, you on Boxing Day that year, you scored against Exeter for Weymouth. I remember I was there.
Yeah.
And then you actually played against us at St James's Park when your teammates Lee Elam and Steve Tully had already come to Exeter.
Yeah,
it's been very weird.
It was crazy because Weymouth weren't doing too bad, and we was going to Portugal actually for like 3-4 days as a team. We all had our suitcases ready to go, and all turned up, and then everyone got the sunglasses on, ready to go, and then Gary Hill comes in and says, "Lads, I'm afraid to say the club can't afford to pay you. You can all leave now and go and find another club. So you can all leave now, just go and find another team." So obviously Steve Tully and Bestie, I looked around, they're gone. I think, well, they're gone, and then they're on the phone to Matty Gill, and obviously they went to Exeter through Tiz, and then that's how they got me down there. Probably a month later, they said, "Well, I'll come down here for a trial for a week, just have a few training sessions," and that's how it started really for me as well.
And great season to join Exeter because obviously we were on the way to Wembley. You quickly make your debut at home to Woking, and I guess the first epic kind of game you were involved in was the playoffs against Oxford.
Oh, yeah.
What are your memories of those?
Yeah, they were very good games. Obviously, I got squeaky bum time, didn't I, in the penalty? I never.
Talk us through it.
I never missed penalties, and I never always take like a 3-4 step run up. And for some reason, when I look back, and I'm outside the 18-yard box, I'm taking my run up. So I don't know what I think. It's not even the pressure. I don't know. I didn't think about it, and I realised afterwards. I don't know why I took that long run up. And luckily, Steve Tully got us out of jail. I'd have been in trouble.
Epic evening there. And so we're at Wembley. And you actually come on as a sub in that game at Wembley. So this by now is at least the third time you've been to Wembley, I guess, after Brazil.
Well, I played at both Wembleys. So I played at the old Wembley and I played at New. So that's a good. At least.
That is a good one. Yeah. How did that feel though? Kind of losing a final. You'd obviously been experienced Ipswich winning a playoff final. Now you had to go through a loss.
Yeah, it was tough because I thought we had a good enough team that season. We had to win that game and go up that season. So after the game, we was all devastated to lose to Morecambe, but they were a strong team, and we give them their credit. And I think it made us stronger, really, not going up that season. In the end, I think we all sat down after the game in the change rooms and thought we keep most of this team together. I feel like we could go on and do great things the season after. And
ironically, after that game, you get released.
Yeah.
And somehow you managed to persuade Tiz to re-sign you. How did you do that?
Well, what it was, I got back to Weymouth and I said to my missus that Tiz just rang me up and said, "We can't keep you," sort of thing. I was like, I was thinking, what do I do now? I said, I didn't care about getting paid or nothing. I thought, I'm just going to text him. So I texted him and I said, "Paul, I don't care about the money." I was at Weymouth was £775 a week. So I was on the same Exeter, I think. And I said, "I don't care about the money. Even if you just give me like £500 a week, I'm just happy. You just want to be part of it." And then he said, "Just leave it with me." And then he just got back to me and said, "We can do this." And then that's how it ended. So luckily I did text him because I thought I wouldn't know what would have happened in the future.
And what a good thing that what a good thing that you sent that text, because Definitely. The next season really couldn't have gone any better for you. You scored 18 goals in the conference and all sorts of games to remember. But one I remember watching at home on Setanta Sports was the away game at Oxford with 2-0 down.
Yeah, I always remember that because I got some abuse once online because some bloke lost a lot of money because he had Oxford and I scored 2 goals right at the end. So I was getting Logan's just cost me this. So I always remember that game. But no, it was crazy. Stano was amazing that game though. He's if it wasn't for him that season, I would have probably got them 18 goals because he was the reason why I've done so well.
And so we're back in the playoffs again, and in the semi-finals we have what I'd describe as a titanic struggle with Torquay. So you were back against your old team.
Yeah.
And probably the second leg at Plainmoor for many fans is one of their favourite games ever. So talk us through that day at Plainmoor.
Yeah, well, obviously it was 2-1. Was it 2-1 down, weren't we, going to that leg? And then obviously they scored, and was it Hill? Was it Andy Hill?
Yeah,
Scored,
Kevin Hill.
They were giving it like they're through. They all said, I remember seeing them bucks everyone jumping around, like, all the thinking that was it, 3-1. Then obviously when Rob Edwards went on that mazy run, and then Ryan scored that great goal with his left foot, and I thought after that, wow, we just kept going. What I got took out for a penalty. I should have really took the penalty, really, but another one on me. The pressure, I didn't like it. So Watto stepped up and scored, and then obviously with Wayne, a great cross, and I managed to head one in as well. So, but it was amazing. That's probably one of the best games I've ever been involved in, because 3-1, I think everyone's thinking we're probably out with 25 minutes to go, and then to turn that around and the fans, that is crazy. It's unbelievable. I'll never forget that day.
Yeah. So you're back at Wembley again. You obviously knew the way to Wembley by now.
Yeah.
And you played the full game against Cambridge, and Rob Edwards' goal gets us back into the Football League. So how was that for you that day?
That was good, because obviously Cambridge is like local to me. It's only 15 minutes up the road from where I live now. So to beat Cambridge as well, and I knew a couple of their players who were giving it a little bit before. So and for Rob Edwards to score a goal as well, talisman Exeter, who's been there so long, and it's just a great feeling. I think overall, I think we deserve to win that game, and we're just hoping in the season to carry on into the League Two, which we did.
I've worn the Wembley shirt.
Yeah, I love that. That shirt's amazing. I haven't got people asking my shirt still, but I always give my shirts away. I never kept none of my shirts. I'd always give them to someone, a younger kid, just some memories from when they get older. You know what I mean? I didn't really care to think about myself, things like that. I'd just give it to other people, fans, and they would appreciate it.
And can you remember what the team did after winning? Did you have a celebration, or did you come back?
We all went into was it walkabout, I think, in town, didn't we? Everyone, it was crazy. It was just everyone was steaming. But I think the year before we all went in our suits, so we was all like, we got worked up with all the razzmatazz of it all. And the next year we said, when we get there, we're going in tracksuits. We're just going to go and relax like it's a normal match day, like we play on a Saturday. So I think the first year we got carried away, all the suits and all that stuff. But this time we just focused on the game. I think that's what done it. It was more relaxed, and I think that helped us a lot as well.
And of course, you then have a open top bus celebration back in Exeter.
Oh, that was amazing. I
remember that.
How many people we had, how many fans were there? It was crazy. There was loads. There's another thing I'll never forget. Just seeing all the fans there and the jubilation. It was great. That shows how big the club is, and as a family club, it was just amazing to see everyone there and see all the faces you see from the games and that. It's just amazing.
So let's just take a little break here and talk about some of your teammates from that day at Wembley who went on to have Premier League careers or were certainly at Premier League clubs. So I picked out Dean Moxey, George Friend, and Danny Seaborn.
Yeah.
Would you say they looked set for the top at that time?
I would say they all had something. Yeah, you could tell. Like obviously with George, he was so fit. He could get up and down a pitch. Sometimes his delivery maybe weren't the best, but you know the energy he had, I knew he'd go higher. Dino as well. His left foot was a wand, and his crossing ability, and he could score goals. And I thought as a left back as well, it'd make it easy in the Premiership. He's so good. Danny Seaborn as well, another technical player. I didn't know how high he would go because sometimes he could lose his way a bit and make a mistake here and there. But he had the talent and the passing ability, and he could read the game well and the pace to play at that level. He did in the end.
Yeah. So
it
was a decent side, wasn't it?
George was I thought George was mainly the more likely one to. And he's obviously shown it. Still playing now, captaining. Is he Birmingham now? Is it?
Yeah, Birmingham.
Yeah. So he's had a great career, George. He deserves it because he's a great lad as well. He was never like big time arrogant. He was just one of them nice fellas you want to do well.
Did he used to bring in eggs when you were at City?
No, well, he used to bring in from the farm, and then Steve Tully would get all the turkeys and stuff. I don't know if they got off George, but he'd bring in turkeys for Christmas for us. So I missed that about Christmas of getting turkeys off Tully.
So you're promoted to League Two, and I've got a story that involves you and an early game in that in that time. So we were away at Bournemouth very early in the season.
Yeah.
And I went out I was leaving quite early to go and meet some friends before the game, and I go outside of my house, and who's getting in his car opposite me but Ryan Harley? And something just made me stop to let him go first, and he couldn't start the car, so he gets out, and I said, "Do you need a lift anywhere?" And he said, "No, I'll get one of the boys to pick me up." So I thought, I'm going to hang on here just to, and he comes over after a minute or two, and he says, "Could you give me a lift? They've all gone." So he gets in the car, and we start driving down the road, and you were all meeting up at the Middlemore roundabout at the pub.
Middlemore roundabout, yeah.
And we're driving down the road, and he suddenly says, "Oh God," he says, "I'm supposed to be picking Logie up." So I said, "Well, where are we going?" You must have been living down Barrack Road.
Down Barrack Road, yeah. Right.
So we turn the car around, and we come, and you looked absolutely. You couldn't work it out what was happening. And yeah, so we dropped you off. But the lovely thing at the end was that Ryan scored the goal at Bournemouth, and we won 1-0. So I claimed that as an assist.
You got to take the credit for that result, getting in there.
He was very nervous, and you were just killing yourself laughing, saying, "Oh, this is quality." But
good player as well, Ryan, wasn't he?
Yeah, what a player!
What a player. Was he? Is he still? Someone say he's playing at Team Bath or something like that now. Is he?
Bath City, yeah.
Bath City, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he's still. I didn't know if he's still playing, but yeah, he was another player who was had all the tools to play at the top level. It's just sometimes consistency and work rate. But he got there and he started doing it at the end.
What kind of qualities did you really see in him?
It's just he could see passes, and he wouldn't always play the safe pass. You know what I mean? He'd try and zip the ball into your first time into your feet instead of going backwards all the time. Like with Ipswich, we had Matty Holland, and he was Mr. Safe. He just goes sideways, backwards, and you think, just get it forward. But he was one there. He could see a pass. He could finish with both feet. He was just technically a great player. The only thing maybe was sometimes if he didn't work hard enough, but I think in the end it clicked, and then that's how he got his moves to play at the higher level.
So we're back playing Football League, but one of the down days on a very good season was the away FA Cup game at Curzon Ashton.
Oh,
wasn't your best of days, was it, Logan?
I think that was one of them again. You turn up there, you think this is easy. You're gonna just get through it. It's nothing, and then I think there was this little tubby left back, and even he was pacing me. I was just terrible. I don't know what happened. I just thought it was gonna be too easy. He was smashing me, and it was cold. I think pitch was terrible. And then Tism brought me off at half time, went nuts, flipped at me at half time, and said, "You're coming off," and that was that. I always try and forget about that game.
Well, we'll go on to something slightly happier now, because I mean it wasn't a prolific season for you, but you didn't half choose your moment when to score a legendary goal for City. So we needed automatic promotion. We're playing Rotherham at the Don Valley Athletics pitch. You come on as sub and you score the only goal of the game. What's your memory of that?
Well, I remember Stevie P saying before the game, he said you're going to come on and score the winner. So it worked a treat. I think we got him early and wore him down, and then Tiz went go on there and obviously put yourself about, and the great ball. Was it Rob Edwards again? I think he crossed it, did he?
It was.
Yeah, another cross, Rob, and I just managed to get I think VAR would count them out now these days when them goals, but arm on the shoulder. I think I get that disallowed with the way the game's going. You're not allowed to touch no one no more, which is a bit of a. But no, it was good to get the goal, and it was just great to go up automatically instead of going through all the playoffs. But no, it was a great feeling.
Do you remember whether that was a pre-planned move? Because it was a short corner.
Yeah, well, they tell them we did practice it in training a few times, but obviously you never think it's going to come off. You think usually it's going to bang into the box, but I always had to hold out. Tiz always say hold out, and then obviously just come across, and it worked out well, to be fair. But to get the, I think Fleets missed the penalty as well, didn't he, in that game?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, so made us sweat a little bit. I was chatting to him about it a few weeks ago on Instagram. So he said he wanted to make us sweat a little bit, he reckons, but but no, it was great.
I don't know, Pete, if we're able to put up the photograph that I sent you.
I'm trying.
I just want to show you a photo, Logie, if we can. from that day.
Is that working?
It's not. I'll describe it for you. Anyway, there's a wonderful photo of you at the Don Valley, absolutely hugging Adam Stansfield at the end. And I just wondered if you could talk a bit about Adam, who's obviously dear to our hearts at City.
Yeah, he was just a great guy. He was always on the bus. It was me, him, and Tully. Always would play cards together. He'd always want his custardy beer up before the games, and that the night before he liked to have one beer just to get his Stano done. And he was just a great all-round guy. And he was when I was going through his bad periods, when I was having panic attacks and that, when I wasn't in the team and that at times, I was having a bad time. He'd come over to me and give me a hug and stuff, and I was all right. And he's one of them people who'd always be there for me. You could ring him up about anything, and he'd chat to you and that. He's just an all-round nice guy. And I think what he done on the pitch, he always give 110%, and I think that's why the fans loved him so much. He never stopped running. Like, sometime the ball, I should have done a run, he'd do my run for me. That's how good he was. And he's just sadly missed, but Jay's doing really well, and he's carrying the Stansfield flag. Hopefully he can keep progressing, and hopefully he can get to the top as well. So that'd be a great testament to his to Marie and Adam.
Yeah. You just mentioned your panic attacks. You've been quite open about periods of anxiety as a footballer. How did you deal with that? And are you pleased that there's more focus now on mental health of players and more support, maybe?
I think because at the time I didn't know what was going on. I was just sitting at home. My brother was down at the time, and I was watching a movie, and I was just laying there, and I said, I can't breathe. He said, what do you mean? I said, I don't know, I just can't breathe. I went up to tell Joe, my missus, and in the end, I just started panicking. I just passed out. I thought I was having a heart attack. I didn't know what it was. And the ambulance called out. And then for 3, 4, 5 weeks, maybe after that, I just couldn't train. I was training. I had to go in, running off the training pitch. So I didn't really know much about it at the time. And I went to see a psychologist that the club got me in touch with, and I started speaking to him about stuff, and it made me feel a lot better. But I remember playing Luton away, and I couldn't even, I had a panic attack in the hotel night before the game, and I couldn't play. I was just in the stands, and I was like shivering. I thought I didn't really know what it was, but I'm all right now, and that everything's fine. I just spoke to someone about it, and then made me feel a lot better. And just from then I just feel good, and I'm in a good place now.
I mean, that sounds very positive. That the club at that time gave you that support.
Yeah, definitely. They give me time. Like I said, I was speaking to a psychologist, and they were always there for me. I understood if days I couldn't come in or whatever, but I think after about a month or month and a half, I started feeling good again. Just focus on the football and that. I think there's a lot to do with worrying about my contract was running out and things like that. And you think, what I'm going to do next, and you don't know. So, but no, it all worked out in the end. So for the good.
Good. So you're now a League One footballer, and the first year was quite a tough year. But one game that I certainly remember is the away game at Wycombe.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about what happened and why you got booked.
Cheggers pulled me in, didn't he? Cheggers had to pay my fine for that. I was just pulled me in. It was crazy. I remember them scenes. It was crazy scenes. But yeah, Cheggers wanted to pay my fine for me. But no, it was another day with the fans there. It was just want to be part of it. I always want to jump in the crowd or whatever. I love all that. So I'd done at Plymouth away in the Johnson's Plate Trophy that time. And when Nard scored right at the end, I've done the same there. I jumped over the barriers, went up the steps in the crowd, and got booed. I just like being a part of it with the fans. It's just good to be part of it.
So at Wycombe, for those that maybe don't remember, it was a last-minute equaliser, wasn't it, to grab a 2-2 draw?
Yeah.
I think we'd been 2-0 down in the game, but
2-0 down, yeah.
And you score in the very last minute, and Keith Stone was the photographer, and he got you hugging him and dragging you towards the fans.
He always talks about. I always chat to him sometimes on Facebook about it. So, yeah, but Cheggers, he was another good bloke as well. Yeah. I love Cheggers.
So it comes to the final game of the season, and we needed a win against Huddersfield at home, and you come on as a sub in the 63rd minute. Can you remember who you replaced?
Was it Stewie again?
Yeah, it was.
his legs, he was getting old then still. He'd done a good 60 minutes and then, throw me on for the last bit.
So he joined Exeter. He was following you around. Sorry?
Ryan scored. Was it Ryan who scored in that game?
Yeah, it was. With about 8 minutes to go or something like that. Can you remember the emotion of that?
Oh, it was crazy. I remember it. It's a stag because Huddersfield were obviously a top team at the time, weren't they? But it was just crazy when Ryan scored. We all just went mad. We still had a little while to go, so we had to get back focused for the last 5-10 minutes of the game. But no, to beat Huddersfield, it was a great achievement. And obviously, you don't want to be down the bottom of the league, but to score and win that meant a lot to the club to stay up.
And then the following season, I guess we really got our League One legs, and we finished very creditable 8th. Some cracking games along the way. Do you remember the away game at Oldham that season when we were 3-0 down?
3-0 down, yeah, I remember that. 3-0 down. It was cold. It was a Tuesday night, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously come back and was it 3-0 in the end?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And you got one of them.
I got one of the goals. Yeah, I think Nard scored just 2, did he? Or Daniel Nardiello, I remember him scoring as well. But yeah, that was great. That was a great game. Another one of them comebacks. It was a great team performance to come back from 3-0 down away at Oldham.
You like scoring these late goals, like at Oxford, Wickham, Oldham.
That's the only time I was on the pitch though. I only come on for the last 20 minutes. So I couldn't score early on.
And then we get to the final game of the season at Hillsborough when Troy Archibald Henville ran the length of the field.
Oh, amazing. Even Tiz got an appearance that game. I couldn't believe he got on in front of me. I was devastated.
You were on the bench, weren't you?
I was on the bench, yeah. I was thinking, is he going to bring me on now? And I thought, I see Tiz getting stripped. I thought, what's going on? No, but I think it's because he ain't played it. That's the only ground he's never played at. Was that right?
Something like that, yeah. Or maybe the first ground he ever played. I
think it was the only ground he's never played at, apparently. So he wanted to play it. I don't know, something like that. Yeah. So, but no, that was Troy. That goal was unbelievable, wasn't it? When he ran through like that and scored, it was crazy.
And interestingly, for City fans, also on the bench for Sheffield Wednesday that day was Clinton Morrison, who came and joined Exeter. So it was quite some great subs that day. So it's probably a good time to talk a bit about managers. You played for a few, George Burley and Joe Royle at Ipswich.
Yeah.
And then wildly different, I suspect, Barry Fry at Peterborough and Paul Tisdale at Exeter. Talk us through your managers and what made them tick and who you responded to best.
I like George Burley obviously because he was my first manager. He was because he played total football. He's like the training was good. It was good setup. You knew what you're going to do, and he was a bit hard on me sometimes. But you have to be obviously a manager, a young kid trying to think he's made it and stuff. But my mate, I like Tiz. Tiz was the main manager I ever had. He was just he knows how to treat players differently. He knows which player needs a bollocking sort of thing, which player needs a arm around him. Sorry, and for me, he got my career back on track. So I really liked Tiz. I was a bit sad he got sacked a few weeks ago with Bristol Rovers. So just didn't work out for him there, did it? It was obviously I lost a lot of games. So in the end, you're going to probably lose your job. But with the COVID, I think the restrictions and maybe it might have been a bit tough to get away with the fans not there, and that's probably a bit hard, isn't it? But hopefully he bounces back one day, Tiz, and he can get a job and get himself back on his feet. Who knows? Maybe back at Exeter.
Would you want Barry Fry?
Would you have him back one day as a manager, or is that gone now?
Who knows? Who knows?
Matty Taylor's doing a good job on Wayno. They're doing very good. Hopefully they can try and go up this season. That's what I'm hoping.
That was one of the things I was going to ask you about Matt Taylor. Did you see him as a prospective manager when you played with him?
I know he wanted to get into coaching and stuff, but I didn't know he was going to be a manager and how well he's done. And but he comes across well, and I like the way he works. And I spoke to Jake Taylor, and he said his training's good, and he's good a manager. So hopefully he can keep progressing, because I think Lincoln coming for him as well. And he stayed, and he stayed low. He could have gone him and Wayno, but he stayed. And hopefully this could be your year. Hopefully we can do it.
And what about Barry Fry?
Well, when I was at Boston, and they wanted to sign me on loan, and he was manager, so I went there for a month on loan to start with, and then he pulled me on the training pitch. I was in the keep ball session. He went, "No, yeah, come over here." I was like, "Well, you all right, Baz?" He said, "We want to sign you. how many years do you want? Some players only usually want 1.5. I was like a bit nervous. I was like, oh, can I have 2.5 then, Baz? I was on the training pitch, like sweating, still training. And he said, yeah, no worries, I can give you this and come back in a minute and we're going to sign it. And that was it. That sums him up. Usually like go in the office, sit down properly in the office. I should have said 10 years, shouldn't I? But no, but he was, weren't very structured at Peterborough at the time. No, the club weren't run well. We'd done that big Ron the Manager. We'd done that Sky episode thing. It was more of like a joke, really. But I can't really say too many bad things about it. But I didn't really enjoy my time there.
So finally, your 6th season at Exeter. So definitely, the club you played most of your senior football with. And it was a tough relegation season. There was a bit of a period in October when we won away at Warsaw. We had an amazing 4-4 draw at Sheffield.
Oh, Sheffield United, I remember that game.
And then we beat Tranmere at home and you scored against Tranmere. And it looked like things might be going well, but it wasn't to be. That must have been a tough season.
It was a tough season, yeah. We had, I think we kept changing team a lot, and it was just one of them seasons where it was a very tough season. It was sad to obviously fall out of the league. It was League One. It was tough. It was a tough year really for everyone.
And you were released at the end of that season. That must.
Well, towards the end, I weren't getting the squads. He was getting me in training in the afternoons and that, just with the kids and stuff. And it was I don't know. I think I was just I just come off the ball a little bit. I think towards the end, so I understood it really, and I think it was at the end of the season. I think it was the best thing for both of us to part ways. But I always stayed in touch with Tiz. I still text him that now and that. So there's never no bad blood. It's football. You just move. Things happen, don't it? You just got to move on. But then obviously I went to Wickham, which that was another. Didn't really enjoy. I think that was another nightmare. I didn't really enjoy that at all.
And you scored a goal that wasn't there.
Yeah, I think that summed my career up there. I scored against Gilly. Gilly was at Bristol Rovers, and I scored and put us 1-0 up. And then there was lightning coming over the stadium and that, so they called the game off. So I didn't even score in the end. So I think that summed my time up there.
So you play a bit of non-league football, but pretty much that was it for your career there. Yeah. You obviously had 2 big clubs.
I had niggly injuries. I had my heel was been hurting for a year, towards the end of Exeter, and then I went to Wickham, and it was the same in training. I went to see the doctors at George's Parks, and it was called Hagland's deformity of the heel. So they said if I did carry on playing, when I get to probably 50 odd, I won't be able to walk and do things, sort of thing. So they said I should retire anyway. So I went to see the doctor there. So it worked out that I knew it weren't too long anyway. I didn't want to keep trying. I was trying to play a bit of non-league football, but it's not the same, is it? Not the same buzz. So I just thought, nah, ain't for me, none of this. No one's seeing your runs and that. I thought, nah, this ain't for me.
But you can look back on an amazing career at Exeter. 215 appearances, 48 goals, including 2 of the most important goals in our history at Torquay and the Don Valley. How do you look back in general at your time at Exeter?
No, I loved it. I wouldn't change it for anything. It's great. Obviously, just the promotions and even the people you meet, the supporters. I still chat to them on Facebook. A lot of them. It was just a great club to be at, and I always try and get back there every year. Once a year, we're going a little family holiday down to Devon. So we've booked for August again. So hopefully, COVID pending, we can go down there again. So we go to Cornwall and we come back for Exeter for a few days as well. So always try and get there every year if we can.
And have you been back to St James's Park since you left?
Well, I went. Was it last year? I went back and see Scott on that. But obviously, there was no football. It was through lockdown before lockdown was coming out. I went back and I think I got Scott gave me loads of beer out the bar. He said, "Oh, he's correct. No one can drink it because not allowed supporters." So I walked out like this, didn't I? So, but yeah, I've been back and I went and had a picture against the wall. It's the first time I've seen me on the wall as well.
The Strikers Wall of Fame.
Yeah. So the kids took the kids and that. So it was good to have a picture there. I'm now trying to lose a bit of weight as well now because I weighed myself the other day. I weren't very healthy, so I've lost a stone in 3 weeks now. So hopefully I'm just keep pushing now and keep getting down to a good weight.
Are you still in touch with people that you played with at Exeter?
I speak to Cirques, Jake Taylor, text Tully now and then. Matt Taylor sometimes throw him a little WhatsApp now and then. but we don't like obviously chat all the time. But you can still just give them a little text, like do Paul, like Tiz as well. Just give them a little text and that. But yeah, the main people was Cirques and Danny. I used to hang around with a lot, and Jake Taylor. So I still speak to Cirques a lot, and he's just come back from injury as well. So hopefully they can kick on us this season. But hopefully, obviously, I want Exeter to go up, and then maybe Cheltenham as well.
Yeah, he scored against us this season.
What's that? Cirques did.
Yeah.
He didn't celebrate though, did he? Or did he?
No, he was very good.
Yeah,
very good. Very respectful.
That's what I like. A bit of respect.
No, well, Richard, thank you ever so much for chatting. We'll open it up for some questions in a minute, but you know, there's no doubt you made a hell of a lot of Exeter fans very, very happy over the years, and so it's a great chance for us all to say a big thank you to you.
No worries.
Thank you.
It.
Should we go back onto the?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions, Martin. Have you've got some questions?
I think I've worked them all into the.
Oh, you see, you're seamless.
He's done it well, didn't he? Put it all in.
Right. Well, bear with me for a minute. I've got a couple of questions that have been coming, Ruggy. One from Trevor. What are you doing with yourself and Bury St Edmunds these days?
I'm a top sweet seller.
You're a top sweet seller.
I've got a sweet business. So I got the idea from Exeter actually. There was a place they sell sweets £10 a box to your door. So when I moved back, my missus started it back. We started back here 3 years ago, and yeah, it's been building. It's just like going crazy. So I just do that now on a Friday till Sunday. So yeah,
I imagine lockdown's been good for that business.
Yeah, very good. And obviously Valentine's Day the other day was crazy. And then we've got Mother's Day coming up, Easter. So yeah, that's why I put on a bit of weight. I was eating them all, I wasn't making no profit.
Well, no, we just quality testing, weren't you? Just making sure they're good enough for your customers.
The product first.
Another question from David Thompson. Which goal for Exeter do you regard as your most memorable? For David, it was the Rotherham header for League One promotion.
For me, it was the Torquay header in the playoff game. There's just the scenes of the fans. It was close. Everyone was close, and the slide on my knees. That goal was the one for me. But Rotherham weren't far behind. But I did like the Torquay one. That meant the most to me at the time.
So when you score that goal at Torquay, is this why I'm playing football? This is the reason why I'm doing it.
The passion and that, and it was just the fans there. It was just crazy. That's you can't, the feeling you get inside of scoring like in that sort of game with the.
Worth all the training, worth all the setbacks, worth all the injuries. That moment is it?
Yeah, I'll never forget that moment. Always have a little look back now and then. I'm sitting on the side, I think, oh, I need to look at that goal again. It always brings tingles to me when I watch it.
So do we, Logan.
It's just crazy. The atmosphere, it was crazy.
Yeah, sometimes I chat to Watto about his penalty.
Watto loves it, doesn't he? He's a good lad. Is he still? I ain't spoken to Watto for a while. Is he still doing the coaching and that? Or?
Yeah, he's a bit on furlough, but he's still doing some coaching. Yeah, he sends his regards. He's a good lad.
Yeah, tell him I said all right. I did try and connect him on Facebook. I think he blanked me. I think. Tell him to have me back.
I'll have a word with him for you.
Have a little word.
Right, let's put it back onto gallery, and maybe if anybody else would like to, I can unmute.
Steve Manuel's got a question.
Okay, yeah, Steve Manuel, how did your move to Weymouth come about?
To Weymouth, it was after Peterborough, because Gary Hill was the Weymouth manager, but his brother was something to do with Peterborough at the time, because he just rang me and asked me to go to Weymouth. I didn't really know where. Never heard of it. Never heard of the place. So we drove. We didn't know how far away it was. I mean, my miss got in the car. It was about a 6-hour drive for us. It took us to get there. So it was all through. I think Gary Hill's brother, who was from Bury at the time, and he just rang me up and said we'll have a little look around the place, and it was a lovely place. So yeah, that's how the move come around.
How long did you do at Weymouth?
I was there till just after Christmas time, wasn't it? Because we're doing well. I think it was only about 4th or 5th in the league or something like that, and we've done well in the FA Cup. We played on BBC. I think we beat Bury. Well, drew with Bury, and I scored in that game. And like I said, we thought we was doing well, and then the club went bust because everyone was on like a lot of people on £1,000 a week and £1,200 a week at that level. So you can't sustain the money, I didn't think. So yeah, but I was gutted when it all worked out for the best of the end. And I get to talk to you a lot now.
Yeah, yeah, their loss, our game.
Yeah, definitely.
Couple of questions from me. We'll ask about VAR. Is it destroying the game? Or...
Yeah, I don't enjoy it no more. Obviously, I love the game still, but some of the decisions you see, like a fingernail offside, or you can't even jump and header a ball no more. So it was just getting out of hand. I've changed the handball law a little bit. And early on, it was going every time I touched the hand, it was a penalty, but they've slowed that down a little bit. But what do you think? Do you think the same is ruining the game, do you? Or
I personally think it's ruining Premiership. I mean, I don't really follow for Premiership football, if I'm honest, because of it's just a nonsense now.
I think you need to, they've got to do something. I think for the big decisions, obviously, they're over the line or something like that, but like the ones that are quite 50-50, you're waiting 5 minutes to sort of get the decision right, and the players are waiting around. You can't even celebrate a goal. You don't know if there's a goal until VAR says there's a goal. And
I thought it was never really designed for that type of decision. You know, if your toenails over the line, it's never designed for that decision. Was it really? And knowing what you know about football now, what would you say to your 16-year-old self if you could speak to your 16-year-old self? What would you say to yourself?
I would just say, stay on the training pitch. Don't go out drinking. Don't go out partying. Just do it for 30 years. Get yourself sorted and just work hard on the training pitch, really, and just do the right thing. Don't be going out on a Tuesday night. Don't be going out on a Saturday night. You can't do it because in the long term, down the line, it will affect your body. In the end, you think you can do it, turn it on and turn it off, but in the end, it will get you in the end. So I'll just focus on my football more and just train, do extra sessions if I had to, and then 30 years I could be sitting a multi-millionaire and relaxing if I'd do it again.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just love the game. It's just playing with the players and the camaraderie of the team and that as well. It's just, that's the thing I miss most really, in the change room as well with the boys, and having people to chat to and that. But
no, Richard, no one's listening, no one's watching. So just between you and me, best opponent, worst opponent.
Best opponent. What as a team? As the team? Or going about a player?
Player.
A player.
Who's the best person you played against, and who do you think? Oh God, I'm playing against him today. I don't really want to do that.
Who was the geezer at? I played against a few times. Effie Sodji, the centre half with the bandana on his head.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't want this. I don't really want it. And then we played him away in the FA Cup, didn't we? I think it was very away in the FA Cup. Yeah. I was marking him for a corner. And I thought, Tiz said, don't lose him. And he scored the header, didn't he? And I was like, oh no, he's done me again. So yeah, he was one of them players who was a bit horrible.
And who did you admire? You know, you're playing against somebody who was the person you thought, great, I'm playing against so and so. I'm really going to look forward to this. You might regret it, but I'm going to look forward to playing against a certain player. Who would that be?
I'm trying to think really. There's not many, because a lot of the players I didn't really think about that really, but obviously when I played at Peterborough, we played against Ronaldo on that, and I was like, just be on the same pitch. It was only a pre-season game and Rooney in that, and the way they play is just being out there. Like when we played Tottenham as well in the pre-season friendly, just playing against any of them sort of players, the Premier League players. Them sort of just like amazing just to watch. I forget about what I'm doing sometimes. You're just watching them, you think, well, these are different level to what we're chasing shadows.
You had to remember to play football, did you? Instead of being a spectator.
For me, out of football, anyone, I'd say like Stano was probably the one I just loved. Like we're playing with him as a striker. Me and him, we just gelled so well. So I'd say he's probably, if anyone can have a Stano at their club, you'd be in a good place.
It was just a natural relationship, wasn't it? You knew where each other were, weren't you, on the pitch?
Every time I flick the ball on, I know he'd be there, and same. And it's just like always worked in tandem. Even like we didn't mention people like Jamie Mackey. He was another one. He worked hard. He lost his head a little bit towards the end, though, didn't he, with Perryman, because he wanted to move.
Yeah.
He wasn't training that, and they were arguing on the training pitch. We were trying to do sessions, and he's like effing and blind in the Stevie P's giving some back. We're all trying to train, and we're laughing. What's going on here? He got his mood got out in the end, didn't he?
Good days.
Very good days.
Anybody else got another question? Any other questions for Logie here? Or shall we just say...
Another one as well. Ollie Watkins is flying. What a lad.
Oh,
I love watching. I always keep an eye on Villa now because he just, even when he's at Brentford, the same. He's another one. He never gives up, does he? He just keeps working. He looks elite.
Yeah.
He's scoring goals now. So.
Will he get his England shirt?
What's that?
Will he get an England shirt?
I think he will if he carries on. I think, like Clinton Morrison, I think said it, didn't he? He said he'd play for England one day when Clinton was at the club. So I think if he carries on the way he's going, he's only going to get better. And he's scoring goals in his first season, he's scoring nearly 10, 11 goals now.
Yeah. I mean, being a Coventry fan, it's really hard to watch Villa win now. It really goes against the grain, but I'm so pleased for Ollie Watkins.
Some good football, aren't they? They play some good football.
Yeah, he's done really well there.
What do you think the score is? It Exeter, Newport Exeter tonight?
It is indeed. I think it'll be 2-0 Exeter, but I'm a half full type of guy. So
they've come off a little bit now, Newport, aren't they? They're struggling a bit lately, aren't they? Their results.
Yeah. So depends what the pitch is like.
Yeah.
After the rugby of the weekend. So we'll wait and see.
What's
And
Wilmot like? Wilmot, is he good? Is he looking?
He can't play because he's on loan from Newport.
Oh, he's not allowed to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
But from what I've seen, he's good.
That's what I was going to say. What's I always hear about Nicky Josie. He's never on the bench. They say he never trained. What's the matter with him? All right.
Over to you, Martin, on that one, or David.
I always see comments about him like, "Where's Nicky Jose?" And is he still there? Is he? Or
I think so.
Is he not injured then, or?
No, I just don't think. I think it's he and Matt don't get on. I think it's that simple. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I remember him. He used to be a good player though, Joe. He scored loads of goals. That's why I'm surprised he don't even get on the bench. And I don't know. So like, there must have been a fallout or something.
He's had a few substitute appearances, but he's not a regular starter.
Happy Bowman stayed.
Happy that Bowman's staying.
You got questions now, and I like.
Fire away. It's okay.
I don't know too much about all the team. I always keep an eye out, but yeah, he's doing all right. Hopefully, he can fire him to the. Yeah,
now he's got a few goals under his belt. His confidence has come back. He and Wilmot I think will be linking up nicely.
Yeah.
He and MJ have got a good understanding going now as well.
What about the young lad? He looks quality. He looks like Grealish. He wears his socks like Randall. Is it?
Joe Randall? Yeah. He could be. If he carries on the way he's been playing, knuckles down, he'll do well.
Yeah, didn't Charlton bid 500,000?
300,000, I heard, but they laughed in his face because now we can obviously get good money for our players.
This is especially his first season in League Two, and he looks like it's too easy for him, doesn't he? Sometimes I've watched him play. He looks a good player.
He's fast on the pitch as well. He is fast.
Looks like a nice grounded lad as well. So that's the thing. He looks like his head well screwed on. So hopefully he can do the business. And
the other lad I like look of Alex Hartridge in our defence.
Oh yeah, I've heard about him as well.
Every game I see him play, he gets better.
Does he improve every time?
He could be really good. He could be really good, I think.
Yeah, hopefully. Do you reckon you can go up automatically now? Or do you think if you go up before the playoffs?
Yeah. I don't think anybody can face any more automatic finals. So it has to be all or nothing, I think.
I think it's tough. Like I watched the Northampton game and it was no crowd and that. It's just rubbish, isn't it? Like you can't.
Soulless.
All season they played well, and obviously to come unstuck against Northampton like that, it was a bit sickening watching that game.
Yeah, I mean, you talk to the players afterwards; they were just at a loss. They just couldn't understand what happened themselves.
They just didn't look themselves, did they? I remember I watched the game from the start. They just looked a little bit off it, but hopefully. I think
they let Northampton boss us, and they didn't fight back. They just let Northampton dominate us.
You got a bit more steel in there this. You got a bit more steel in there this year, like a bit more.
Oh yeah. Tom Parks doesn't take prisoners.
No, yeah, I've seen it. He looks a bit of an animal. I wouldn't want to play against him either. Like Danny Coles was the same in training. I used to hate it. He was an animal. He just trained. He just snapped you all the time. Barry Corr, me and him had a fight in training. He was another angry man, that Barry Corr. There had a few angry men at that club.
Couldn't possibly comment.
But yeah, hopefully they can do it, and hopefully I think I'm going for 2-1 tonight. Exeter. Bowman to get both.
Good man.
Good man.
I think MJ will do well. He's a good little player.
Yeah. Well, Matt, was there Matt J? He's how many goals he got this season? He's in double figures, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's up to, was it 10, 11?
Yeah. What's his game then? Is he like running off a strike, or is he like being the top man who runs like Stan used to do? Does he do everything? Does he?
He does everything.
Yeah.
He gets everywhere. I mean, he does run off Bowman. Because he's actually so small, he's quite good against the tall centre backs because they're not as. He's a lot more mobile than they are.
Yeah, he's nippy. He gets around them quick.
He gets around them. Yeah, he can't out jump them, but he can get around them a lot better. And he just runs and runs and runs. You just wind him up like a clock, and he just goes and goes and goes. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's what you want to see, don't you? A bit of hunger, desire.
Yeah.
And I hope we got this season.
Well, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been absolutely fantastic. It's been really good to listen to you. One last call for any final question for Logie.
Drink your water.
Drink your water. Yeah.
No more beer for me. Too late. For 20 years too late.
Martin or anybody got anything else? Should I come off mute? Let's come off mute so we can all just say a big thank you.
I think David's got. David's got a question.
Okay, David. David Thompson.
Yes, more of a statement than a question. Really. I just wanted to thank Richard for his candour. I thought it was a very, very candid session. I thought he summed up situations very succinctly, didn't duck anything. I absolutely agree with him on many of his comments, particularly the mystery over Jose. Jose is a player that clearly has ability, and no doubt Richard felt he had ability at times, but didn't perform to his full level. Maybe that's the situation with Nicky, because there's no doubt about it. That lad with the ball at his feet in the penalty area is a danger when he's on song. There's no doubt about that in my view at all. It's a tragedy for him, and it's a tragedy for the club that he's not performing for us on the pitch. But I'd like to thank Richard for his candour. I'd like to thank him for his 6 years at the club. And I'd like to thank him for some memorable goals, and he's absolutely right. The match at Torquay was incredible. 71st minute, I was in the slough of despond, as John Bunyan would put it, when we were 3-1 down. But at the end, unbelievable. But thank you for the memories, Richard, and thank you for today. I really appreciated your candour.
Thank you, David. Can I just
Cheers, David.
Can I just come in here now, please, Pete?
Of course you can, Phil.
Okay. Logie,
Yeah.
thank you very much indeed on behalf of all the senior Reds for giving up your afternoon
No, it's
and
not
talking to us. You were a legend as a player. You've still got that status. And the last 10 minutes of discussion just shows how much City meant to you and you mean to us. Your current knowledge of the situation is brilliant. We all appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. We wish you all the very best.
Cheers, Phil. Yeah, I love you, man.
Phil, could we start again? Phil, could we start again? I've just got back to what?
You're going on mute.
Yes. Anybody who comes on here with a note,
I'll be able to come and see you watch a game when it's all back to normal. Hopefully it'll be next
that'll be brilliant. You're always welcome down here, and you know that. Thank you very much indeed. But I can't end this session without making reference to Martin Weiler. And I'm sure you'd agree, Richard, he did a great job in chatting with you there. So Martin, I can't see you, but I know you're there somewhere. Thank you very much indeed for all you've done to make this afternoon so enjoyable. And to Peter Fairley, who is the host for this session and who's also done a great job on behalf of all the senior Reds. Pete, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Phil.
We said we finished about 3:30. It's now 25 past. So that means you get 5 minutes longer to make your pancakes before kick-off tonight at Newport. Don't forget, it's 7 o'clock. So he's not going to get his pancakes, is he? Oh, he's got it already. Good man.
Logie, what's the cost for delivering to Exeter, your chocolate box?
Oh, we do postals, to be fair. £3 for postal delivery, £13, but I wouldn't charge you lot postal because you're my friend.
Put your website in the chat box, mate.
Legend.
Go on. Put your website in the chat box now.
Where is it?
And whilst you're doing that, we'll be having pancakes here tonight. And if I make them, the kitchen will need redecorating, so I'll probably leave it to Sue. But, final thanks to everybody who's also taken part this afternoon, everybody who sat in. It's been a great afternoon. It's been a great chance to have a chat to a legend player who wouldn't normally have access to if we were having meetings in the park itself. So thank you to everybody who's taken part this afternoon.
Phil, thank you for what you've done. But can I also say any thoughts, any feedback about the session, good or bad? Please let us know, because Martin, myself, and Phil are going to have a conversation to see whether we want to carry on doing something like this. But we need your feedback as well to let us know what you think.
No, I appreciate having me on. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Chat to you all. Hopefully,
we'll have you back, because there's more stories, I'm sure.
In the playoff final or towards the end of the season when we'll do another one.
Good man.
Yeah. Great stuff. And just a final plug, if you've got a spare 10 minutes this afternoon, Barry has sent out the latest bulletin, so there's something there for you to read as well. Thank you all very much indeed. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.